Hello everybody, welcome back to TìandTarot. So today we have another reading from a part of the Karmic relationship series, and today we're going to be doing water signs. So we have 3 piles today, and you can choose your pile based on the number of the pile, the energy of the pile, the object that is on top, or now based on the zodiac sign that is associated with each pile. If you are choosing with zodiac signs, I will get into that with you now. So for pile 1, we have Pisces. For pile 2, we have Scorpio. And for pile 3, we have Cancer. For pile 1, we have this shell. For pile 2, we have some Caribbean calcite. And for pile 3, we have a conch shell that has been polished into a stone that is also the shape of a heart. Once you have selected your pile, there will be a timestamp in the description box below for you to more easily find your way to it, and I will meet you there. Bye. Hello pile 1s. So this is your reading all about your next karmic relationship. So let's get into it. So for your first card, you have the Tower card. So straight away I would say this relationship is going to have a massive impact on you. It's just going to be a very important relationship, which is exactly what karmic relationships are. So it's doing its job. But as you can see here, it's quite tumultuous. That doesn't necessarily mean it's negative. This just means some sort of drastic change is going to occur with this relationship or because of that relationship. It could be a change to how you approach relationships going forward, and that change could just be that, you're starting to look at your partners more critically, you're starting to be more assertive with setting boundaries and things like that. It could just be that kind of change, and that could be because either this partner, that your next partner, kind of shows you exactly what you want, exactly what you're looking for, which then helps you to go on and do that. Or it could be that they showed you exactly what you don't want, and so now you're being a lot more strict about who it is you're actually willing to let into your life. As you can see, even though this is a tumultuous situation, it has definitely changed your mindset or flipped your perception of things. There's not much damage that's occurred. There's only like a tiny little piece of this tower that's actually been knocked off by this lightning bolt. So to me, that kind of says that, whatever this massive change is, although it completely changes your mindset, your perspective, there's no sort of like turmoil, there's no big trauma here from this relationship. And whatever you learn from this relationship, because this is a major arcana card, this isn't just like a temporary thing. This is something you carry with you from here on out. This new perspective or mindset is something that really has a big impact in your life going forward. Okay, so let's get into who this person is. Oh, okay, so they definitely could also be a water sign if you did choose this pile because you are a Pisces. But if not, this still applies, even if you chose not to choose based on this being a water sign. This person is definitely a water sign, so I'm getting like quite strong Cancer and Pisces vibes, but definitely could also be a Scorpio. I think this person's really intuitive, really spiritually connected. They have like a strong sense of justice, but in terms of karma, sorting things out for them, ironically. So I don't feel like this is somebody who takes justice into their own hands. They kind of leave it up to fate. They like to have all the facts before they react to situations, very level-headed and open-minded as well. They could be quite spiritual, They might be, you know, into like tarot readings and things like that. But this is definitely like a more peaceful, calm person, but definitely more so on the emotional side. Not necessarily like emotional maturity, just like, or immaturity. It's just that they are open with their emotions regardless of what those emotions are or how they express them. They feel like a leader, but that kind of like lone wolf silent type that kind of attracts people's attention and trust because they see that this person doesn't surround themselves with people who maybe aren't right for them. They are an introvert, they like their peace and quiet. They're not very extroverted. You might find that in this relationship, them being so intuitive means that they can pick up easily on your emotions and they can resolve things with you. But the fact that they do have these extreme emotions, they are very in tune with their emotions, that might almost silence yours in a weird sense if the relationship goes down, has any negative, you know, points to it, which most relationships do. They have good and bad points. But I feel like they might, in being so emotionally triggered by a lot of things, their emotions could drown out yours, but their intuition can also pick up on yours. So there might be times where they kind of are so engulfed by their own emotions they don't see yours, but it could also be that this person is able to help you work through your own emotions and being happy and content with everything that's going on in your life. So, for example, if you are someone who struggles to leave things up to fate or leave things to karma to sort out, they might help you see why it's really important to just walk away and let things go. And lastly, I wanted to see why you had to be in this relationship. Why is this the next one for you? So you have the Orator with communication and confidence in reverse. Okay, interesting. So definitely this relationship, the reason why this kind of karmic relationship has found its way to you is so that you can work on your confidence and communication. You might not be used to being so open and vulnerable and sharing how you're feeling, but because this person can just pick up on how you're feeling, you can't really hide. You can't hide in your tower anymore. You can't pretend everything's okay when it's not. So the fact that they're so intuitive kind of gets you out of that tower, it gets you talking, it gets you feeling more confident to share how you're feeling, especially if they respond positively to the way that you're feeling and they help you work through these things. It's going to help you so much because it's going to rescue you from this tower. It's going to help you communicate. Like, the tower is the thing that you're hiding in to avoid communication, avoid confrontation, even if it's like positive confrontation that's very mature. You shy away from it because you're not used to people having a kind reaction to your feelings. You're not used to people caring about the way you feel or being considerate about you and your feelings. So this person completely transforms that for you. And then from going forward, that changes your perspective with relationships. You realize you can ask for what you want, you can set boundaries, you can talk about your feelings. And if you're with someone who dismisses that, then they're not worth it. You deserve somebody better. So they help you to see that. That's what this next relationship is kind of creating for you. And you've got very big, like, major arcana cards, which could indicate that this is more so of a permanent relationship. Karmic relationships, they can be permanent, but most of the time they're there to kind of teach you a lesson, and that lesson is to help you communicate and feel more confident. But because of the major arcana cards, I would say that this person feels like a slightly more long-term partner. Maybe a year or two, maybe longer, maybe, you know, for the rest of your life. But definitely an important figure in your life, for sure. Okay, so that was your reading pile 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you felt drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Fridays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. So if you chose this pile because you are a Scorpio, then this is the one for you. But even if you didn't choose it because you're a Scorpio or not a Scorpio, that's also okay. So let's get into your cards. Okay, so you have the Knight of Swords. So I feel like your next relationship may be quite fast. It might also be quite temporary, quite short-lived, but I definitely feel like things kick off straight away. You're communicating straight away. You maybe have a date very quickly. Things just move very fast. And this person comes in very strongly for you. I'd say that they've got a little bit of work to do on their kind of emotions and things like that, because this person has a tendency towards maybe like not necessarily emotional immaturity, but they are hot-headed and their emotions can flip from one to another, because they're quite passionate as well. But this person, definitely this relationship is coming in fast. So this relationship is also all about honesty and staying true to who you are, and both of you staying true to your own beliefs. So, for example, if you say you're going to do something, actually following through with that. So this relationship is going to have themes of that, your next sort of karmic relationship. It could be that this is something both of you need to work on, or it could be something both of you are bringing to the relationship. So essentially it's like if you say, yeah, we're going to meet up on Saturday and go out for drinks or whatever, actually staying true to that. If you say that, you know, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, actually do that. Don't do A, B, and C, you know. So it's about being honest, being true to yourself, telling it how it is, and seeing things very, very clearly and not shying away from that. There's no sort of timidness in this relationship. There's no sort of tiptoeing or footstepping. Like, you guys are honest, open, and you will still like deliver news that is necessary, not in a kind of like rude way. Like, you don't, while you are telling it how it is, that doesn't mean you're coming across rude. You guys are just being honest and upfront, trying not to hurt the other person's feelings, but definitely being very open. Okay, so let's see who this person is. So you have the Page of Swords in reverse. Sorry, the Page of Wands in reverse. So I definitely feel like what I'm seeing here is that potentially this person, they have a lot of ideas that they don't follow through on, which is leading back into those themes that are coming up in your karmic relationship. This person, although they're very creative, they're very intelligent, they're very wise, they struggle to coordinate and bring things together. They might struggle with kind of time management and things like that. So I think that ends up making you guys miss out on a lot of things and events that you've planned, because they might be like, oh, I've got this great date idea, we're gonna go on this Ferris wheel, and then we're gonna have dinner here, and then we're gonna go to this mall, and then, you know, so on. But those are just ideas and they struggle to follow through, and then it almost like sets your expectations high and then immediately drops the ball, so that way like you're almost disappointed. And it's not because they don't want to do those things. It's not because they don't have the intention to. It's because they struggle to follow through and to keep an eye on all the things they've got going. So they might be planning things, but because they're planning too many things at once, they forget to make a reservation at that restaurant, and then that falls through. They forget to look up the location and the travel journey for going to the Ferris wheel, so that falls through. It's like they've got too much on, they've planned too much. They need to simplify it. And I think in this karmic relationship, you're having to be a lot more decisive about where you're going, what you're doing, but you're also going to have to be a lot more honest about the fact that this isn't okay. If you don't find it acceptable, you have to let them know that that's kind of setting them up, both of you up for failure. You know, it's making them seem like they can't follow through on things, but then it's also disappointing you when those things you were promised don't come true. So this is about you guys like working on that. And this is going to help you become a lot more assertive and determined. Although I already feel like you have that. You have that energy already. But I just feel like this is probably why this person's coming up, because it's something you need to work on, is telling your partner when and something is okay and when something isn't. So let's see why you had to be in this relationship. Why is this your karmic relationship? Oh my goodness. Okay. So you have a few cards. Let's pick these up. Alright. So you have the twins with self-protection and dual nature. You also have the fate with accepting help and guidance. You also have the king with control, reversal of fortune in reverse. You also have the musician with inspiration and gratitude. And you also have the pathless, difficult decisions, lack of direction. You also have the astronomer with discovery and augury. And you also have the merchant with self-worth and trade. So the way I'm seeing this is that you are used to kind of being the one who essentially doesn't get like the kind of benefits, I'd say, that your partners receive in relationships when they're with you, but they do get a lot of benefits. You're used to being the one who takes control potentially of like the finances, the domestic duties, the planning of dates and events and things like that, and that's just something you've kind of had to shoulder in your relationships, because every time you kind of voice these opinions to your partners, they either aren't receptive or potentially they want to work on those things but just aren't doing it. So this is about finding balance. This relationship has come to you, especially here with like the twins, the merchant, and also the fate. This is about finding balance. Like, you can't keep doing everything in the relationship and not getting anything in return. And that's not to say that relationships are transactional, because they're definitely not. There's of course exceptions to everything, but it's just that you shouldn't have to shoulder 100% of the duties all the time. So there's two of you in this relationship, so 50% should be being done by them, you know? So you also need to work on accepting help from other people, because I feel like you have a hard time asking for help in the relationship, for like planning, doing the domestic stuff, watching the finances, taking control of that, budgeting, planning. Like, you do need help with these things, but I feel like because of past situations, you've now almost become complacent to where you don't ask anymore. You're like, you know what, it's just easier if I do it myself. But this is kind of saying that this relationship has come up again, this type of relationship has come up, so that you can start asking for help and recognize that it's okay to do that. And when you're with the right person, they'll be receptive to that. They will take your hand essentially and help, not necessarily help because they should be doing it anyways, but the right person will find that balance with you. They're not just going to keep piling things into your like duty list. They're also going to do things as well. So that's why this has come up. Like, this is not a new type of relationship. This is something you've had time and time again. And the reason it keeps coming up is because it wants you to be able to recognize that you asking for these things, for you asking for 50-50 is fair. Like, that's not extraordinary. It's not like you're being crazy or cruel. It's fair for you to ask for 50%, and it wants you to get comfortable with asking for that, so that you don't feel guilty or like you're nagging or pushing or being too much. The universe wants you to recognize like what you're doing, what you're asking for is valid and fair, so that every time you ask for it, instead of feeling worried, panicked, or just going, you know what, I'm not going to ask, I'll just do it myself, it's easier that way. Instead, going forward, you ask for that help, and if that help is not given, you can then make the right decision for you as to whether or not this is worth it. And it wants you to be able to know your worth and step away when people aren't putting in what they should be putting in. It's about your self-worth. It's about how much you're putting in and how much you're willing to put up with in return, because it wants you to find that equal partnership and that like happy lifestyle, whether that means you do find somebody, or whether that means you're on your own for a while, or for as long as you need until you find that partner. Because if you value yourself, You'll value the time that you have alone without these people that are not worth your time. You're used to handling like all of the responsibility, and it's telling you shouldn't be doing that. That's why this relationship was put on your path. It's fate, so that you can finally recognize that you don't deserve that, and sometimes the kindest thing you can do is walk away and have that time alone, because forcing yourself into relationships that you don't fit into is just going to make things harder for you, which isn't fair. It's about finding a new muse, being grateful for yourself, being grateful for who you are, and having that time with yourself as well. Something about this reading though, I'm not sure why, but something about it, just with the twins and the fact it was the Page of Wands. Page cards remind me of turning a new page, of changing things, of turning things around. It makes me feel like this next person is unintentionally doing these things. And once you voice your concerns, I feel like they actually make a change. I'm just getting that vibe very strongly here. But yeah, that was your reading pile 2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you felt drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Fridays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Hello, pile 3, my beautiful Cancers, or anyone else who chose this pile. This is going to be your reading, all about your next karmic relationship. And you chose the conch shell that was made into a heart, and it's got this really cute little swirl in it. And I just love it. It's like good for like travel, and especially by the ocean, which is exactly why I picked it for you. Okay, so your first card is the 9 of Crystals here. Yeah, so this karmic relationship is so strong. This is about you, like the message here is so strong, because this is about you learning to walk away from what no longer serves you, for what isn't good for you anymore. I feel like you're somebody who gives people chance after chance after chance. And in this relationship, you're gonna, you're not jaded by your past, so you're going to give this person chances, because that's what most people do. Most, people want to see the best in others. So of course you give them chances, but you have the tendency to give people too much chance, too much opportunity to kind of take the piss and walk all over you. So you're essentially walking away from what no longer serves you. You're taking what you have left and leaving. Like this crutch here is one of these crystal wands. And instead of planting it here so that you can give this person another chance, you've taken it and you're using that chance to help you walk away from the situation. You're investing back into yourself. So this relationship makes me feel like this person might, be given a lot of chances and they just keep dropping the ball. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so this kind of makes you walk away. This is exactly why you're having this karmic relationship, so that you can learn to put yourself first. So let's get into who this person is. Whoa. Yeah. Okay, so I'm only going to take the top one because like 20 cards came out. But you have the 5 of Wands, and this is literally like acknowledging that you two don't work, acknowledging your differences and parting ways, either resolving it or parting ways. So with the 5 of Wands, again, it's like you've given this person a lot of chances, and you're just not seeing eye to eye. Fundamentally, you are incompatible with this type of person, and with this person who is actually you're in the relationship with. So this is about either resolving it, but that's a very slim chance of that happening, or walking away, which is usually what is needed in this situation, and just accepting the fact that you're not going to get along with everybody. Not all your relationships are going to work out in the way that you had hoped. And so if it doesn't work out, that's fine. It's better to be by yourself than be with someone who is not giving you what you deserve, is not an equal partner, is not giving you 50-50. So, yeah, I feel like this person just is the complete opposite to you, not in a good way. Like, you guys just don't see eye to eye. Okay, let's see why you had to be in this relationship. Why was this your next karmic relationship? Okay, so in reverse, you have the Senator, determination and certainty. So this is really interesting because I feel like you might be quite a not in a bad way, but you might be someone who is quite passive. You're very uncertain as to whether or not, when you have an argument with someone or some sort of disagreement, you're uncertain as to who was the person in the wrong. You kind of feel all this guilt and harbor it all onto yourself because you're a very compassionate, like empathetic person, and so it's hard for you to distinguish their feelings from your own. And so sometimes you might even see yourself as the negative person in this situation when actually it was them. So the reason this relationship has come up is because time and time again you take the sort of passive position in the relationship. You're kind of the done to, instead of like the person who takes a lot of action. And so I feel like this relationship has come up because this is a karmic relationship for you because it wants to teach you, like, you need to start using your voice and walking away from situations that don't serve you. If people are taking advantage of you, if they're just not listening to your boundaries, if they get upset when you try and stand up for yourself, these are all clear signs that this person isn't for you. They're not good enough for you. They're not the right person. They're not a 50-50 equal partner. They're just taking 100% of your resources, your energy, your mentality, everything. So it wants you to be a warrior. It wants you to stand up for yourself, shield yourself. Take this last chance you were going to give them and use it to help you heal. Use it to leave that relationship and use it to go forward. Now, having seen exactly what you don't want in a relationship, you can now go forward with an idea of exactly what you do want because you know what you don't want. So you know what you're looking for now. So you can use your own shield, use your determination, your certainty as your shield. You know for a fact this person isn't good enough for you. You know for a fact they take advantage of you. You know for a fact they're not a great person. And use that to stand up for yourself going forward. Use your determination as like a spear and a shield. Don't let this person walk all over you. Put distance between you and this person. These like wands, here, and then even the spears over here. Use that's like creating distance between you and that person. That needs to be there. This karmic relationship has come up because it wants you to stand up for yourself and know your worth, essentially. To walk away from this situation knowing that you deserve so much better than them and knowing that you're doing the right thing. Any reason to end something with somebody is valid, but it wants you to learn the message of don't put up with this in the future. In the future, don't give them so many chances, Over here they were given 5 chances, over here they were given 9 chances. Don't do that. They get 1 chance if you're willing to give them that chance. Even then, you might not even want to give them one. One might be one too many. They get that 1 chance, and if they continue to hurt you, degrade you, or dismiss your boundaries or your feelings, then they don't need any more chances at all. You can walk away from that person knowing that they aren't worth your time and you've not lost anything here. Don't take on, use the shield to protect you from the kind of negativity that the downside of being such an empathetic person, because when you're so empathetic you can get confused as to who is the wrongdoer here, who's the bad person. You end up feeling guilty because they feel sad or something. But this is telling you to use your shield against that. Don't let them get into your mind. If this person is the cruel person, they're the cruel person. Don't for a second think it's you. And just walk away with a clear understanding of the fact that you guys are just fundamentally incompatible. So that was your reading pile 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. If you felt drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Fridays for another reading on Tea and Tarot. Bye.